Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Constant Agitation, our weekly podcast. As always, I'm your host Jimmy and joined by the beautiful Eva Garmendia. How you doing today?
You're much too nice, Jimmy. I'm good. It's been a tough week, but still pump up for this episode. Our 11th episode.
Yeah, we made it.
Yes.
I don't know why 11 is such a...
I don't know. It's two numbers. I like when numbers repeat.
Mm-hmm.
So from here to 22.
How was your week?
It
was crazy.
Yeah, it was tough. It was fun, but it was draining, and I had a work assignment, so to speak, and I was part of a global health summit on the topic that I work with, antibiotic and antimicrobial resistance, and I was in front of a camera, a very big camera, which was very intimidating. These ones here are like my babies, and I feel good in front of them, but that one was way too big.
Yeah, I saw the photos.
It was big.
I actually watched the broadcast as well.
I'm so bright today.
You are very bright. I should have maybe turned this one down. Hold on, let me try to do it.
You guys are seeing everything very bright this time. We got an amazing light for video.
Yeah, it's really nice, huh? I look like a ghost. Kind of. I'm super white. But
you didn't put your makeup on?
No, I forgot.
Oh.
I think maybe we did match the white balance in these two cameras.
3,500, wasn't it?
Yeah. But maybe we should make it warmer on that one for next time.
Do you want me to do it?
No, it's fine. I'm not sick or anything. It's just the white balance, so don't worry about me.
And the lack of makeup.
Yeah. Maybe I should start wearing it. It's about time. I made it 11 shows in the biz. It's time for me to start wearing makeup. Hi, everybody. Hey, Chris. Always nice to have you with us. Where is everybody? Say hi. If you're listening to this podcast as an audio version, we also do it on YouTube. Just in case this is the first time you stumble upon it, I repeat it every week.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know that this exists on YouTube, come and join us on YouTube. You can chat live with us and everybody who's watching. And you can also look at the photos as we look at them.
Yeah, we normally look at photos and some other visual things, which is always helpful to have been here in the stream, or maybe check out the video if you're listening to this and then just come into the video and
take a look. Yeah, it stays on
it.
It stays on YouTube. All the streams, they stay there.
Hi, CM.
So what was I gonna say? Yeah, and in case you were interested in that thing we were talking about, Eva's work for the last week, we mentioned it before, but I guess I'll mention it again. Follow her on Twitter. That's the easiest way to keep up with that stuff. You can't watch they can't watch the
summit is going to be actually published later because they
currently
had to
it's
get
unavailable, but it will be there.
They recorded the whole thing on the platform that was used for the digital summit, and then it's all going to be available to watch as well. It was very inspiring, and also I think a lot of people that maybe are not working on the area could learn from it, because it was a lot about human behavior in general, which can be applied to almost anything.
Yeah, there was some interesting stuff, because I'm not very in on the topic, but there were some talks that I could relate more than others when it comes to the human psyche and all that kind of stuff.
How I really like that there was one speaker that said that a lot of people think that humans are irrational when they take decisions, because we make very dumb decisions sometimes, but he argues that humans are not irrational. We're just imperfect in the way we take decisions, and that's why we might not do what we are supposed to be doing. And I also really like that he basically summarized that if you want to make humans change their behavior and do things the way they should, you should just make it fun, attractive, easy, social, and timely. Yeah. Just remember that. If you make something fun, attractive, social, and timely, then they will engage in the new behaviors.
Yeah. Do you think we're doing that with this podcast?
We're fun for sure. Attractive, it really depends. We're social. We're always open to people participating, and that's the part we like about it, right? Also to create community. Timely, I don't know, Friday 6 p.m. might not be the best time for everybody, but it is what works for us.
Yeah, at least we can reliably say we can show up every time. But yeah, we were talking about this. You mentioned it, I think, yesterday when we were talking about the Coca-Cola and Pepsi thing.
Yeah, that was also a very nice example that he gave. Of course, when you are working for a company that is bringing up a product into the market, and you need to think about the way that you are going to get the people to buy your product. And when you were mentioning that before, when these sugar-free drinks were coming into being a bit popular or bringing into the market, that Coca-Cola decided to go with Coca-Cola Light, and Pepsi went with Pepsi Diet.
Or something like that.
Something like that. And then they realized it wasn't working so well, and they changed the marketing and the ways, and they changed Pepsi Diet into Pepsi Max. And now Max, it kind of relates to something big, something attractive, something fun. You want to be part of the gang. And then people reacted so much more into buying Pepsi Max than before Pepsi Diet. I find just very interesting how the human psyche works.
Yep, like the word diet almost like feels medical to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they were saying, if you tell someone that they should be doing something because it's healthy, there is less chances they are going to engage on it than if you tell them that they should be doing something because it's fun or because it's everyone else does it, for example, also.
And you know what's fun? Hit that like button so other people can see the the show. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, if you're it's a bit weird of me to ask you to hit the like, even though we haven't even started with the topic of today. But if you're a weekly viewer and you watch us all the time and you like us, we love you. See?
Please like the video.
Please hit that like, and so you know how YouTube works. But anyway, you want to take a look at some photos?
What are we doing today? Yes, because of this week's hard work and stuff, I'm not feeling, we were like thinking, what are we going to talk about? Who are we going to talk about? And I thought that maybe we can talk about a photographer that is widely known for being a fashion photographer. But I want to maybe be a megaphone or talk or highlight that he was much more than just a fashion photographer, which is what he's kind of known for. And it's Irving Penn. And I'm sure the majority of the people listening to us have heard the name of Irving Penn. And because even though he was born very early in the 19th century, he was active until the end of his life in 1992. So he's basically a photographer that has photographed the whole 20th century, so to speak. And he was supposed to be a painter from the beginning, which seems like we have a theme here. We have talked about some photographers that started being painters and then they turned photographers. So Irving started as a painter, and then he turned into graphic design, and then he picked up a camera and never really left the camera, even though he continued painting throughout his life, I believe. And he also later in his life spent a lot of time on the second part of the workflow of photography, which is making prints. But he has really, really, really nice work when it comes to photography. And as you say, you were looking at his work and you were mentioning how you see his paintings in all the photography that you have seen, right?
I mean, I'm not so familiar with his paintings, which I think it's a good time to take a look at them. Let me do that. So I wasn't really necessarily familiar with his style of painting, but what I was saying is that all his photographs to me, they did seem like, or they gave me the vibe of a fine art painting. And when we look at those in a while, you'll probably see what I mean.
Yeah.
If you're watching with us. His paintings kind of like, the whole thing kind of reminiscent of last week's episode when we were talking about Rodchenko is like, for example, this one, the rooftops one, is giving me like a very geometric, abstract kind of like with the surfaces, how it's playing.
Very structured.
Also the color palettes, they're very,
I really like it.
They're very nice. They're very earthy.
Very consistent as well.
Of course, yeah. You can see like these are different works here.
Yeah, these are collections. And I believe if you click in them, they might also relate to some photography. Yeah. Sometimes.
This one is called Mermaids.
It's really nice.
It kind of looks like, what is that small seahorse? Was that what it's called?
Hippocampus? Yeah, seahorse. Yeah, they actually look a bit like seahorses. And so it's this website that we're showing, which is the Irving Penn Foundation website. It's really good and a very good resource. There's a very in-depth description of his biography, but also on his works, you get to understand how he thought while he was doing paintings, but also while he was doing photography, and some of his photographic projects had like a lifelong journey, so to speak. For example, he worked very early on in his life with a nude photography project, which wasn't typical at all back then to do those kind of photographies. We are not going to show them here because we're in YouTube. We are, I think, not supposed to show a lot of nudity, but if you have the opportunity to go into the website and check this project, it's amazing that these photos were taken, I believe, in the early 1930s, 1940s. But these photos actually didn't see the light of day or being seen by other people until the 80s, because it was a bit like unorthodox to work in that type of topic back then. And with the nudes project, he, for example, wanted to highlight that the body can be very different from person to person, which is something that we've been talking since early on until today. We're still talking about that, you know, photography should be representing all type of body types, because a lot of people don't feel represented in the photography they've seen, especially fashion photography and all that.
It's true. When I was browsing that gallery, I haven't seen his work before, in at least that gallery before. And I can say that it was not what I expected. Usually when you see a fine art artist working with the nude photos, they're usually using the body more of a, you know, like to isolate parts of the body to kind of show some different shapes, you know, something more abstract. But with the photos that I was looking at, I think we can show this one, or maybe this one we can't show. That one, the one on the cover of the gallery, was more of what I'm saying. But I think a lot of them were more like portraits of people doing stuff or in different positions, but not as close-ups as you would imagine, and not as beautiful in the traditional sense of the word. It was more of a like, this is what it looks like, you know, like this is a body, this is a person.
This is a person, exactly, or doing something, or it was, it reminded me more of paintings than other things.
So check it out if you're interested. Let's take a look on the mixed media paintings and drawings. Do you have any interesting stuff to tell us?
No, for now, just saying hi. People saying hi. I just saw some people coming in, so. These are the mixed media. He did some graphite and pencil work. You have probably some acrylic work as well. I see there a lot of sketches.
A lot of sketches, and I would say, like, if you look at the, I feel like, to me, they're more focused on form and shape rather than anything else. And I feel like for a photographer, this is a very good exercise. If you do sketches like that, and if you place different objects in different parts of the frame, and you kind of can develop a style of shaping things, of using shapes and forms to enhance your image. Because I always try to, every week when we look at these things, I always try to think, how can I utilize this to get better, or to learn something that I can apply? And I feel like in that sense, you know, it can help you in a way, even if you're not interested in making paintings.
I mean, a lot of the paintings that we're seeing here, they are also representing volume, light, and shadows, which is very important once you are going to take photographs, to know how the light falls into your subject. And these are basic exercises when you are going to painting school, or like fine art school. You learn to see the light, you learn to paint the light, you learn to paint the shadows. And I see that a lot of the compositional work and how he plays the shadows and the lights were things that he was able to also represent in photography way.
Exactly. The watermelon one, I want to go.
Chris here is mentioning, Christy, sometimes or many, photography has more money in shorter time than painting. George Hurrell, for example, started as a painter too. I guess the trade and the field is very different when you're a painter or you are a photographer, obviously. And I think this also relates to the work of Irving Penn, because he worked for a very long time as a fashion photographer for fashion magazines, which I guess they might be maybe easier or you earn more money when you actually work for a big company, like you could be Vogue as a fashion photographer. What did you want to say about the watermelon painting? Sorry.
The picture.
Sorry. Yeah. Picture.
Yeah, it's very like you can see a direct kind of inspiration, I would say, from the paintings that we were looking at.
Yeah.
How everything is laid out in the photo, and as you were saying, with the light and shadow, very simple stuff, but it makes for a very interesting frame. It's very random, just like because you have this like half-eaten loaf of bread, a mushroom cap, and some seeds and a cherry in the bottom corner, and then nice fruit plate or bowl. Yeah. But there's a fly on the lemon.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the choice of subject in it.
It makes me like it has feelings of beauty and eeriness at the same time. Like, why was this left like this?
Right. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, that when I look at his still life work, I just feel like there is a lot of care of how the different elements are placed together in the frame, and how the shapes relate to each other, and how the shadows are built up as well, which is very nice. And as you say, his still life pictures, when you were looking at them, you said like there is like some creepiness sometimes about them, and I think it's because in a lot of his still life photography there is like this post feeling, like it's after the aftermath or something. You know, this one that you're showing now with the pieces that could be part of a game evening, you know, with a little bit of cognac and a coffee, and you were smoking, and there's some match, or use match, and it's I don't know, there is a feeling of afterwards in them, right, when everything has finished somehow.
Yeah, this one was pretty interesting as well. I think this has to relate to what you were talking about in the beginning, in terms of the his movement to painting, because you were telling me that he was unhappy with that's how he got into it, because he was
printings, you mean? Making prints.
Unhappy of the work of the magazines.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I wanted my photos to be presented in a certain way.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been talking about this, and we've been talking about it, you and I privately as well, about when we are creating something, how the audience or the viewer is going to experience it. It's kind of part of what we are creating, right? And in this case of today's, we are thinking, is it going to be seen on a smartphone? Is it going to be seen on a computer? What kind of screen the person is having? Do they have a color balance screen? Is my photo going to be completely orange when I'm paying so much attention on the colors of the thing I'm photographing? You really have no power over it. So I found it kind of ironic that in the times of Irving Penn being the photographer he was and working for magazines like Vogue, that he was growingly being very disappointed with the quality of the prints that they were putting out in the magazines. And with time, I guess the money was just less, and it was worse material or worse like printing, whatever it was, that he was like, it's hard for me to look at the photographs in the magazines when they come out, because this is not what I wanted to make. And he decided that he wanted to, as you say, tomar el toro por los cuernos, which means to take the bull by the horns, which is I'm gonna do it my way, and I wanna take care of every single step. So I'm gonna learn to do prints, and I'm gonna learn the photographic print methods that allow me to have most control over the printing, and just create what I want to create from A to Z. And that's how he spent a lot of his time, I think probably in the late 70s and 80s and near the end of his life, making a lot of platinum prints and some other methods that are like old methods, and he was just coming back, revisiting them and seeing how he could introduce them in his workflow.
This one, I feel like it's a product of that move, of that shift in his work, and how he kind of started to play more, because this is a photograph. It's a gelatin silver print. As it says, this website is really nice. I'm really happy when we find a photographer and they have like their work archived nicely, and like, you know, that at least they had something to do with archiving their work.
Yeah, he actually worked actively a lot into doing that.
And this is a bunch of fish. If it's not clear, I'm sure it's pretty clear on the screen.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't know if the fish was laid out like that and then photographed, or something else was being done here.
This fish is a bit fishy.
It's really cool though, and like here when you look at the edges, you can see something. It's kind of like a sloppy. What is it called? That thing in Photoshop, the thing where you select and
The magic wand?
yeah. It looks like that kind of, right?
We were just looking this morning, right? You sent me a story or a post by one of the photographers we follow in Instagram that he was showing an old composite of a photo shoot done on film, and then they had taken several photos because they wanted to do something super special that the model could not actually do in reality.
I know. Hold on, let me do this. This is not good at all. Why can't I bring it here? Wait.
Technical issues. We'll be back soon.
I'm trying to bring this here. Oh yeah, it was because I was in some screen.
Sorry, guys.
There was a lot of text please don't read the text.
I don't think there's any text.
There is a lot of text there. I think we might have to edit this one out. But anyways, what was I? Oh, where did I send it? I didn't even send it here. Stupid me.
Cherie just arrived. Hi, Cherie.
I sent it to you on Instagram.
Yes, you did. You want me to send it back to you?
I thought I sent it on the messages.
I can send it to you. Don't worry. Let me see. Yeah, so I thought it was very interesting that
Sorry about
that back in the days you could actually even do this, not only at the level of printing a part and then printing another part in the paper, but that you cut negatives and put them together and make a print, right? Like it was so cool.
Yeah, he sliced up the actual negative and put it together. That's what we were talking about.
Did you show it?
I didn't show it because I don't know how to do so.
Oh, it's gone.
Let's see. Insta.
No, it is gone because it was a story.
Oh, it was a story.
Yes, so the story is gone.
And Instagram doesn't open.
It is okay.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go back to this after the complete mess that I made. See, if you're listening to the podcast, that's why you should watch it on YouTube. Tim sent a really nice message. Did you read it?
Yes, but can you read it for our audience?
Yeah. Tim Verheyen, our only guest so far on the podcast, just sent in a message. He just coming back from a little photo walk, and I can say your podcast has an effect on me. I was clearly inspired by one of the previous artists you've shown. That's really lovely. I'm super happy to hear that.
Yes.
And I'm curious, which one do you think you can say which one? Which photographer was it that you were inspired by?
What do I think?
No, I'm asking Tim.
Okay.
If you can tell
because
us.
If I think it might be.
Yeah, you want to guess?
Van Gogh, maybe.
Van Gogh. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like it's kind of like close to Tim's style, maybe Van Gogh or even
Rodchenko. Yeah, Rodchenko last week, maybe.
Yeah.
Van Gogh kind of fits him. Yeah, black and white works. And also Rodchenko.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he went like super weird angles and stuff like that. That'd be cool to see. Looking forward to see the results, Tim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too. And
yeah, we were watching some of the still life work by Irving Penn. Very beautiful. I like this touch. Like it's so carefully placed. I tried actually once, a long time ago. I was asked to do an assignment for food photography.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard. It's really hard to make things that don't look off for some reason.
With the food?
With the food and with the plates and the cutlery and the food ingredients, like I was like, how do I get creative with these? I really like that some of his photos are like, this is a meal, but these are the parts that make part of the meal. They're not showing you the meal directly. It was really cool.
Yeah, you guessed it. I think it was Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Yeah. He said he can't remember it because he's terrible with names. I understand you, bro. I can't remember my name sometimes. Hey, Matisse. Um, yeah, with food, like, what would you say? Like, what was the biggest issue there?
I think the biggest issue was to not take the same photo over and over again.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like, yeah, you get a dish, you take a photo of the dish, but how do you change the mood, the vibe, introduce some elements, maybe don't show the dish fully, put the other kind of props from the dining table in it. So
it was like the keeping it interesting. There wasn't any technical issues with the lighting or something like that.
I mean, I was very...
I feel like that's one of the things that is, if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't have experience with particularly artificial light, and you don't have access to nice light that is playing nicely with your subject, I think that's one of the most challenging things about doing food photography.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I was very young. It was back when I was working with the photo group at the Nation here. I was a student, and we were doing assignments every week to try different kind of photography. And we were all rookies. Like, I don't think we had like proper lighting. We tried to do whatever we had, and there was, thankfully, it was the summer, so we had a lot of window light. So we worked with that mostly. But I think, well, here says Miguel, the biggest issue was not to eat the food. We got to eat the food afterwards, which was very nice. It was a little bit cold and stuff, but we got to eat the food. But I think, for me, it was to keeping it interesting, to just not feel stale. And because we had like, I think 12 different dishes to photograph. It was because these nations that I'm telling you, where I was in the photo group, they are like a bit like fraternities for everyone to understand a bit. So it's this place where you can go and do activities with other students, but they also have a pub and a restaurant. So they wanted us to take photos for the restaurant so they could use it in the website and so on. So it's kind of all the things within the nation, you kind of help each other. So it's like, we have a photo group, but they don't take photos of our food. And by the way, this is also the nation where I learned to do black and white developing and printing, and where I taught for first time doing all that. So it's dear in my heart.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we ate the food. The photos weren't so bad. You know how I tried to get creative with it? We had some foods that were a bit puffy, like they had volume in them. So I took photos from the side instead of from the top. And with the window light, tried to create shadows and shapes and stuff like that. But then it was really beautiful, but it wasn't really a food photo. Like, sometimes you couldn't see what it was. So some photos I just keep for myself. Other photos they used, and so it was fun.
I think it's important to mention that, because I was talking to someone in some chat room about access to darkroom and stuff like that. And I didn't know about this until you told me, but like that there are these groups where you can meet people, and they have a dark room, and it's like, how do you call it? It's like a photography association or something like that.
Basically,
where it's a membership club, and you can join and pay an annual fee or some kind of fee to maintain the place. And it's basically you share the place with other photographers, and that's, I think, a really good thing if you're trying to meet people and get access to equipment. So I don't know where you are, whoever you are listening to this, but check your local area and see, what would you search for?
I would search photography darkroom or photography association darkroom or something like that. And like, we have one in Stockholm and we have one in Uppsala, which is
and the one over here, they also have a studio with professional strobes and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're a member, you can just use it.
So you can like book times, but it's included in your yearly subscription
membership. I mean, I know for a fact that Tim is also part of one in Amsterdam, because they were with us actually the day that he was here. They were signing and they were watching the episode as well. The people from the club, I think. Photography clubs, maybe as a photography club you can look for it.
So if you want to develop and maybe you have not enough space or stuff like that, I think in most cases, if you buy your own chemistry, you can use the darkroom and go there and make prints. If you have all the materials, you buy your own stuff, but you take them there to have a light, tight area to work and a safe place to work with chemicals and all that stuff. So yeah, if you want to do that.
And if it's a smaller darkroom, like for example in the one in the nation that we had, because it was such a small group and we all knew each other, I decided that we would buy things in bulk. So everyone put like 10 euros, and then we bought developer and fixer and all those things, and maybe even the paper was personal. The paper was per person, but the liquids we actually bought them in bulk for everybody. So if you're a small group, you can also do that and shave some costs as well.
Miguel is saying there is nothing like that where I live. The good thing is that they sell photo equipments for nothing as they don't value it. Well, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Is that
I guess, yeah.
Is that a saying?
If it's not, it should be.
I mean, remember I told you the story, I think, many times of the Canon Prima that I really enjoy using. It's the point and shoot. That was basically just wasting away in the shed, and it was bound to be thrown
destroyed.
Out. Yeah. But yeah, now it lives in my pocket, and I really enjoy taking photos with it. But hey, Miguel, maybe you can start something, like if you find a Facebook group and, a bunch of people put some money together, why not? Or not. I mean, it's up to you, but it's a thing. And, if look for that if you're interested.
Yeah, because a lot of the talks now, especially young people, is like, is it worth for me to get into development? Is it worth for me to set up? It's like with this, if you find these clubs, then it's like a midway, because you have other people that will teach you. You can maybe not now in Corona time socialize with them, but you will learn, and then you can try out. And if you don't like it, or
that's actually how the thing started. I was talking to this younger person who wanted to get into it, and they I don't remember exactly how, but they had some space issues, and I said, well, there's this thing, and they didn't know about it. So yeah, and I didn't know about it either. So, but enough of that. Let's go back to this photo. It's not your most typical food photography. I really like it though. It's like it almost, what I feel like looking at these shrimps. They're like mafia bosses chilling in a tub together. It's so weird.
That's a very nice. I really like that that translation of the photo. I
don't know why they're turning their backs to each other. Maybe they're consulting with their gunmen, or I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, there is one dead right here. This guy was poisoned during dinner before they jumped into the tub, and he's like laying sideways. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's it's like a fish soup, I guess. Bouillabaisse. Yeah, that's in Barcelona, of course. I was like, this seems familiar. It's a bouillabaisse soup, fish soup.
And this one, again, it's very, as you said, this feeling of after the fact.
It's because it's I like it that it's just not clean. It's carefully dirty. It's like when the women said I do makeup that's no makeup, which is like you do everything to look like you did nothing. This is it. This is like you carefully do everything so it feels like nothing happened, but it's actually all prepared. Which is a complete different story from the photography that we think about. Like we just document what is there. We don't intervene with the scene. Here is completely opposite. Here is like you prepare everything like you want it. Even the last speck of dust and ash from the.
Yeah, you think these ashes were like sprinkled?
I think in Irving's photographs, everything you see is there for a reason and is placed there on purpose. Everything. There's one with some eggs and some spices on top. It's also very carefully done.
This one is one of my least favorites, I have to say.
Yeah, I showed you that and you were like...
Something about it rubs me the wrong way. So I'm not going to spend more time looking at it. This one is pretty cool.
Yeah, the flower ones are very nice. Every time that I see flowers like that, I always send it to you because I know you like it.
I really like flowers, and I'm getting inspired. And today? Well, today I did it, yeah. I've been experimenting with doing some Polaroids. You can't see those so well.
No, they are too bright, or?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe if I show them here.
I mean, I'm looking at it very, very small on my screen.
This is closer. Give me.
But these were very quick tests. I mean, they're not great. I was just wondering if the light temperature is working nicely. And it is. But I think I need to work more on the backdrop over there. and maybe I can come up with some cool stuff like that.
It's really nice. I'm just a little bit upset that the Polaroid doesn't seem to. I don't know. I don't know if there's some production issues or something.
No, it's because I put it in my pocket and I kind of like bent it a little bit because I knew these ones were not gonna be anything great. Anyway, let's keep rolling here.
It's so cool. I like it. And I really like this orchid because it was almost dead and now it has 7 flowers.
Yeah, this one came back surprisingly strong.
It was completely dead.
Yeah, there was no flowers on that orchid.
There was not even like a stem where flowers could come from. Like it had to grow the stem and then grow the flowers.
We really like this one. Here's the thing. Here's what I can tell you about these photos. Every one of them I can see hanged on a wall. Like it's, I know they're selected, but we looked at so many photographers up to this, not so many, 10 previous photographers. And I like a lot of their pictures. And I can't say that I don't see them hanged or anything like that. I can't see them. I can probably see them more in a gallery, in a photo gallery. But these photos, every one of them I can see in a living room, like in someone's home.
Someone's place.
Very aesthetically pleasing, very decorative. The colors, the shapes, the composition, everything, the way it feels like you should put it on a wall.
But it's the same with his paintings. Like I really love all of them. And this photo in particular, the one of the frozen things, it reminds me a lot of his paintings because also the color palette. How do you get like those beautiful colors that they are so soothing together? Like I really like them.
Read there. It's dye transfer print.
Okay, of course.
That's what, like, dye transfer. I don't know if I'm biased because it's so magical and I love the way it's being done.
Yeah.
But I'm seriously I've looked at random things and then I try to check what it was. I always find the colors that come out of dye transfer to be the most beautiful colors. Yeah. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a printing technique that is, I think there's one lab in Germany that does it. There might be another one in Australia. But I think those guys do something different, which basically the way you do this is you do 3 color layers and then you transfer the colors to the final print with those layers. But then there's a lot of work to compose these layers from the original picture. So it's a lot of work, a lot of very technical. And I think there might be more layers than the 3 main color ones in terms of like black and white and contrast and the depth of the tonality of
what I'm wondering is like when we see these photos in these galleries and then we're seeing what the print was, how did they digitalize that print?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Like when we're looking at these photos in these galleries, actually these are photos they are coming from prints. So these are photos of prints.
Yeah.
Digitalizations of prints that were a physical photo. Yeah. How do they digitalize those prints? Because that is also going to be really important in the way that we perceive the photo and we get the colors, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be as accurate as possible, obviously, the way they do it. I mean, I guess they would do it with very, very, very good scanners, like where they put the real print that they had in those scanners. Yeah. And they will very carefully see that the colors match perfectly. But it's interesting as well.
Look, like now I'm looking at it, right? And I have 2 screens in front of me. I'm looking at the monitor, the big one, and I'm looking at my laptop screen. And it looks different.
And I'm looking at my laptop and I'm looking in the small monitor here. It does look different as well. I like my laptop much more. Yeah, because they're more pastel.
I think these laptop screens are going to give you the closest one to the actual print because these are calibrated. Yeah. But that's the thing. That's why I get so fussy about posting stuff, is that every time I post before I post, because let's say I'm posting on Instagram, I go and I work on the photo for like an hour, let's say, on the colors on my computer screen. And then I send it to my phone to post it on Instagram. And for some reason, my phone is on
the night mode,
which is night shift, they call it, which is basically turns everything yellow. And I already edited my photo to be warm.
I know, it turns
like now it's freaking orange. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy.
I know. And they're like, this doesn't look good anymore. It's like,
So here's what I started doing is, on my screen, I will edit the photo and double check it and make sure that it's not going too warm.
Crazy.
So I have to find the middle ground. And I think that works. But I forgot to do it for the last batch that I posted. Hey, Larry.
Yeah, Larry's here.
Finally, we get to have you live.
Yes.
Cool to have
Welcome.
you here. And what was I saying?
That's what happens. Like you do it in the computer, and then it might just look different in the phone. And you can
again, to your question is like, we have no idea how this came to be on this website. I'm sure they use the best scanners they could use, and if professionals are doing it, they are probably referencing it with a real thing, and But here's what I can say: even like there's something about it, because when the colors are done in a certain way, when the calibration of the image is done in a certain way, you're not just getting the feeling, regardless of if you're looking at two different photos on the same screen. And one color calibration is not done so carefully versus another one that is done very carefully to the max. I think when you're doing dye transfer is like the most extreme way, because even if you're preparing it digitally, you have to split the image into so many different layers.
Different channels, yeah.
I've seen maps of people, how they lay out their dye transfers. Yeah. And it's like, what is this? Like 16 different versions of the photo.
Is that video that you show me using all natural pigments, was it a dye transfer process?
Similar.
It was, right?
It wasn't a typical one, but it's a similar one.
It's a similar thing.
That one was also showcasing the material they used to create the colors.
It was so beautiful because they in that video, maybe we can leave the link below, they can see
if
it.
I can find it.
They see where they take the pigments from. So, and it's all like natural things. So it's this kind of rock and this kind of material, and it's so beautiful because you see how they powderize that, of course, then it becomes a pigment, and then they use that pigment to do a lot of different layers of the picture. And the way they do it is that you have to analyze the photo first and then create one photo for each layer of pigment that you're gonna use.
That's what I'm saying. But again, the final result, sorry to interrupt, because I didn't finish that thought, is that the final result will give you that the colors are not just pleasing when you look at the whole image as a whole, but they're also the relationship they have with each other.
Yes.
Because your eyes and your mind will adjust to whatever you're looking at. So even if the screen is not as good, your brain is gonna convert it to the closest thing to it. But then when you have beautiful colors next to each other, that's what I'm trying to say is that it will still look good on whatever screen you're looking at it. And I think that's can be also like taken to us, where we're trying to learn from this, is to try to make the colors,
careful,
work nicely with each other as well.
And that will translate, even if the material where it's been seen into like the screen, even if it's not like yours, it will still be more pleasant because you have thought about the colors being together and how they flow together.
Of course.
Yeah.
But again, if you want me to bring the grimminess back to the idea, it all depends on whatever they were looking at right before they looked at your photo.
That's also so important, because sometimes I realize I'm working with the computer with the night shift on, and then I take it off and I'm like, oh my God, I need to reset my eyes. Everything just looks so off. And then you just do like this, and then you go back to it and it's fine. This
is one of your favorites. It's bones that are sliced and arranged.
Like bones. Very nice. I really like it. Yeah, it's a bit grim, as you say, but he also has some very grim ones of skulls and everything. Yeah, there you
go. What is that?
That's that I actually don't know what it is. I know that is a sewing machine and something that looks like liquid. What is the title? Sewing machine with 13 objects.
Yeah, and it's platinum palladium print. I really like this because there are some processes that I didn't know about that I'm definitely gonna look up after this. Again, The Poor Lovers, New York, 1979. This is really cool.
This is just steel, right?
3 steel blocks. Yeah. Again, it's just showing playing with the tonality and showing the different
shape and the texture. So good. There were some of his early sketches that were very similar to this photo.
Exactly. Again, dye
Burrata?
transfer.
Burrata?
Yeah.
No? I guess.
Yeah, it is. It is cheese. And that's
It's
a
the
tomato
mozzarella.
and an olive.
So nice put together.
Right?
Very beautiful.
It's beautiful. And the texture of the tomato skin and the olive skin, everything is so... It's highlighting the different textures and materials. And it's really beautiful. Like when you dumb it down to the most basic things, you can still get something really, really nice. And again, like regardless of the time or the photographer or whatever it is, it's still... I don't care who took this or...
Yeah, of course, it doesn't have to be the name. That's why I also wanted to bring up his work, because he's very well known for the fashion photography, which we will show in a bit. But he has worked in so many other things that are very beautiful to look at. And also, I think it might serve of inspiration for those people that are in places where they might not be able to spend a lot of time outdoors, just to look inwards and see how can you focus on the texture, on the shapes and the volumes of the things you have around. And even with seemingly strong and sharp, harsh light, I would say, like the one we're seeing right now, right? You can work and do very cool stuff.
Yeah. And again, the theme is still going. Like I look at every single one of those and I see it very nicely sitting in a frame on some wall.
On a kitchen. This one's in a kitchen.
Yeah,
Very
I don't
nice.
know about the kitchen one because there's an ant on this
Doesn't
one.
matter. How did he get the ant there? I'm very
Yeah,
curious
right?
about.
That was that's a paid actor over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's happening with this one? I have no clue, but there is some optical illusion going on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a multiple exposure, maybe it's another thing, but it's really clean. And this one could be in a kitchen. There is no insects of any kind. And it looks like
Is that tofu?
yeah, I was going to say it looks like a fig sitting on a tofu. Or is that a very old pear? Who knows?
I think it's a fig.
Yeah, fig, tofu, and salmon.
A very big piece of salmon.
This is a silver dye bleach print.
No, I have not heard before about that process.
No, me neither. There you go. We can learn something.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's gonna be something similar to dye transfer because it involves dyes.
Yeah.
And what is this? Is this a pig?
I think if you hover over, it might have a title.
Oh, that's true. Underfoot, the 24th. Gelatin silver print.
I really don't know what it is. It does certainly look like a pig's face.
Yeah. And some tree trunks.
2000. He took this photo 2 years before he
this is
passed away.
2001, for example. And you can see, like, from the 70s till 2001, you look at it,
Yeah.
you can kind of, like, if you're familiar with his work, you can know that it was him.
Yeah, this is the one I was telling you.
And this is an inkjet print.
Yeah, so.
Here's the thing. Did you feel any difference between this and the dye transfer?
I did feel the difference in the colors.
Right?
Yeah.
What about you guys? Did you feel different looking at this color that was printed on an inkjet, at this photo, the colors in this photo, versus the ones like the one we were looking at earlier, this one right here? Does it feel different? Do you feel any difference in terms of the process? Let us know in the chat if you please. Again, another inkjet print. This one is kind of harder because this to me, honestly, this looks like a dye transfer. I think he might have taken the time to grade it the same way he would, because that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking that I want to learn how the method works, and then it doesn't matter, because if I can only experience, let's say, these photos that are dye transfers as a scan, I can probably recreate that color balance,
color grading,
of the dye transfer in my photos. And I'm now looking at this. I know it says right here it's an inkjet print, but it does look like a dye transfer grading to me, at least.
Tim is saying, can we really tell? We are still looking at the same 8-bit colors on a monitor.
Yeah, it is true, and that's what we're kind of
trying to
that's what makes me mad sometimes. But I don't know, this one it doesn't feel, the colors don't feel as carefully selected or kind of, it just feels too blue to me, kind of, in a way. Let me check the other screen. Something about it doesn't render it the same way. But this one is beautiful. The same here. This looks like a digital photo to me.
It does. It might have been digital. I think he did digital back in the end. So it could be. We don't know what he shot on.
But that's the thing. When we're talking about printing process with dye transfer, for example, you can still make it from a digital image.
Yeah, of course.
It's not necessarily, because printing itself is, it's another part that is also, you can create an image, a digital photo, to look like a film photo. And at the end of the day, I don't really care how the photo that I'm looking at was made, as long as I like it. I personally enjoy going the film route, but I also enjoy doing the digital sometimes. And as long as I make something that I'm happy with, the way that I thought about it, the way I wanted it to be, if I can hit that, I'm happy. It doesn't matter how I made it. And the same way, I don't care how anybody makes their photos, as long as I enjoy it at the end. But there always seems to be some, for the most part, some trends, and then, like when somebody uses the same camera, let's say, or the same film stock, or the same brand, or the same whatever, the same lens, there are some parameters that are going to exist there. And usually the follow-up is going to be similar. And if I don't enjoy that end result, I'm going to kind of disregard that whole section as a whole. And this one kind of looks to me like those macro photos from the photo magazines, digital photo magazines, that I'm not really a big fan of. This one, the one before, doesn't give me that vibe. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
They're completely different in my head. And it's not the sharpness, it's the colors.
Yeah. But it depends what he was going for after. If it's like a true to life color grading, if it's like some sort of more artistic color grading, what is it that?
Yeah, but again, when we talk about true to life, you saw it today, I was playing with the temperature of this light, we were looking at the flower with our eyes, and it looks very different. Yeah, we got some comments here. If you were reading them while I was rambling, do you have any?
I was trying to listen to you. If I read, I don't hear, so I don't process. There are some processes that can be admired and seen in its physical form. For example, wet plate photography. When you see it in real, it looks so different than the scans.
That's true.
Of course, yeah. I'm not sure. This one that you're showing now, what is it? What type of print is it?
You want to take a guess?
I don't know.
I will say, I don't know. But I will say inkjet. No.
Come on. I was going to say something very...
Yeah. No, gelatin. I was just guessing because of the trend that the last three photos. But here you go. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And Tim is saying that different colors might be just intentional. It's hard to say if the colors differ because of the printing method or because of the different color grading choices. Obviously.
Yeah, that is true. I definitely agree. It's just that from what I learned is that when you're doing dye transfer, where you're going through that process, you seem to be getting a specific look. So here's what I can say. Like, let's say we have 3 different people and they use 3 different post-processing softwares. Depending on the design of the software and how it's laid out, for example, like Lightroom, for example, you have the color sliders for the saturation and vibrance ahead of the HSL panel. So you're more likely to be, playing with these ones and then get later to these. And you might never get to the HSL because you already did something with the white balance, you did something with the vibrance and saturation. You're like, I like how this looks like. And then there you go. While if you work with something else, let's say like Photoshop, and you open up the hue saturation module, and it looks very confusing. You don't you have to do so many clicks to get to wherever you're going. But then if you click on the color balance one, it's more straightforward. You can do whatever. So I think the tools will kind of direct you in a specific direction So it depends. It really depends on how you're doing it. So if you're manipulating the colors with an image with a software, following whatever layout of that software, versus if you're using any other software, but depending on the methodology, let's call it, of the dye transfer, where you have to split your image into 4 different ones, one for the contrast and one for every color layer, you're gonna make you're gonna make your own choices, but in these parameters.
Yeah, so I guess it's also the path of the choices you make will make a difference, right? I really like the comment that CM said that might point out why you like the first flower you saw, but the second one gave you the vibe of like macro digital photography magazine. And they say the fresh flowers are not interesting. Decay, on the other hand, it is.
I agree.
And it's decay. This is the word I was looking for when I was seeing in Irving's photographs. This post thing is the decay, is the feeling of decay that are in his photographs. That is the eerie part, I think.
And speaking of eerie, let's talk about his fashion work. You were telling me a nice trivia piece about this.
About which one?
About fashion.
Yeah, that...
about his fashion work,
with Vogue?
Yeah.
Yeah, that he did a lot of work for Vogue, and then I think I mentioned it at the beginning, that he was very disappointed with the...
Not this one.
Which one?
The other one.
I don't remember right now.
That how they considered his photos.
That at some point, yeah, that's true. That at some point Vogue was not really happy with the results of the assignments to Irving, because they were too much for them, a little bit too artistic or too out of the ordinary for what they actually wanted to portray in the magazine. Because as you can see, his photos might be fashion, but they're much more than that. They're much more than fashion. And
again, like that theme of me looking at them and feeling like they should be, decorative items in terms of like hanged. I see them hanged in a place, and making that place much more beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
look at that, of the one of the
This one.
Yes.
It's I really like this one. This kind of looks like an elephant here. This whole shape to me looks like an elephant. This is an eye, and this is the mouth here.
So Miguel is saying his photos will not sell the clothing for sure.
No, but they will sell prints.
But the thing is that that's the amazing thing. His photos, I feel in his photos, the clothing is the subject. The clothing is what is being admired and what is being worked with. Look at the structure of those clothing that he's working with there. It's all there is there. But of course, it's portrayed in a way that maybe it is not really for fashion selling or something. It's just, he's seeing clothing as a piece of art that should be photographed in a specific way.
Yeah, definitely. Look at these ones. They do feel like robots.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like the way the models are like
pointing,
moving,
and the one next to it as well. It looks a bit like the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Reminds me of it.
Really, really, really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this week we didn't get any questions,
I
have to say. And it's fine. But if you do have any questions, leave them in the chat.
Yeah, for sure.
But as always, it's nice because it gives us like something to also, talk about something, because a lot of times we learn stuff from trying to find an answer for the question. We're not claiming that we know all the answers, but we enjoy doing the research.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I did find that very interesting, the fact that they said his photos were too much for the fashion magazines.
And that's how he turned into advertisement. Photography for a while after that happened, because I guess maybe advertisers do maybe accommodate a little bit more of creativity and artistic vision on the take, maybe. I don't know. I will just, if I had the money to give Irving to just like do assignments about this and just give me the photography, I mean. And he was also very disappointed, as I said, with the quality of the prints in the magazines as well, which maybe also kind of didn't help for him. Wanted to work more on photography for Vogue and stuff like that. I don't know.
Here's another interesting one. This collection is called Small Trades.
Yeah.
And you want to tell us more about it?
Yeah, so I learned that this is another of the projects that took a little bit of time to kind of come to light. He wanted to photograph workers in their working clothes and in their working vibe, so to speak, and aura. And he did this work in 3 different countries, in France, in UK, and in America. And I read some pieces of curious information that it was very different working with the people on the 3 different countries. So the approaches that they had to being photographed by him were completely different. The people in France were a little bit hesitant. They were like not so keen on sharing themselves in that way, but because they were paid to go to the studio and get photographed, they did it. In the UK, they were very proud of their craft and very proud of their profession, and they would just come in their working clothes and ready to share with the world what they were working with. And then the Americans, on the other hand, they just presented themselves into the studio most of the times completely clean shaven with nice clothes, thinking that maybe now they are going to have their shot at being photographed and maybe become famous, and sort of like the American dream type of idea. And I thought it was an interesting thing that how...
Here you can see the contrast between the... this is the in New York, a chef, and this is
in Paris.
Butchers in Paris.
Yeah.
I mean, a chef is different than a butcher, I understand, but if you're working, you're not going to be that clean. But again, I would say that as a chef, you at least show up to work in the beginning of the day with a clean attire. It might get dirty. But you can see the big difference there.
And it's kind of fun, that the attitude towards being photographed and the project that he wanted to do, how he encountered some difficulties in some places, but other places were just like, yeah, of course, we'll come in and show you what we do.
Yeah. And it's cool that all of these, again, are tagged with the location as well.
It's just amazing that he worked for so many decades taking photographs, right? These are from the early 50s.
There's a street photographer from New York.
Nice.
With the winged camera. What is that camera? Hold on. Let's do some investigation here. That's how I live my life. Every time I see a camera, I'm zooming in. How do I move it? I can't move it. Oh, I can't move in...
No.
But it's so weird. I've never seen one of those. I wonder what these flaps are. Do you have any guesses? Because this is the lens and that's the shutter release.
Then there has to be the aperture. No, those flaps.
These flaps on the sides. I don't know what they are. Maybe they're just...
Maybe they are the barn doors for the flash on top whenever he puts it or something.
I don't know. Never seen one of those before.
No, this is old. And he's smoking a cigar. What a man.
Yeah. I wonder what this cup is for.
Tips.
Or
the money. Look like it.
Yeah. And the film is sitting in here. Nice and warm.
Yeah.
On the flaps are the prices and services, maybe. Yeah, good guess, Miguel. Maybe like because he's a street photographer, this is his advertising.
You know that the street photographer can mean two very different things, right? Is a photographer that works on the streets or a photographer that photographs the streets?
Yeah, no, definitely. I like instantly.
I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, I remember back home there used to be in the clubbing areas and stuff like that where there's a bunch of restaurants, especially in the summer where people are sitting outside or like standing drinking outside. They used to be photographers that come by with the Polaroid cameras and they sell you a Polaroid.
Yes.
They take a Polaroid of you and then...
In Granada, up in the viewpoint where you can see the Alhambra, there is always a couple of photographers that would take a photo of you with your family and the Alhambra and then print it in the moment and give it to you. So many times I thought that maybe I could do something like that.
So they would print it. It's digital though.
Yeah, but they have one of these smart, like fast printing things and stuff.
Here's a deep sea diver.
Vitrier. These are jobs that don't exist anymore, some of them.
Yeah. I wonder what this guy was doing. Telegraphist.
Yeah, telegraphist. So he would send telegraphs from place to place.
Yeah. This one I actually didn't look at. Did you check out this one? The documentary one?
Just briefly. It's more like street type.
Yeah. I was going to say, this feels like street. Very nice stuff here.
I just didn't think. I mean, of course, we look a lot of street photographers lately, so I.
It's true, and it doesn't feel like here is where you can kind of go away from his normal style, and I don't feel like it's very prevalent or obvious that it was Penn who.
Yeah, because I guess the
photos.
photos that we've been seeing on Penn are, as I said, very carefully thought photographs with everything it's in its place because he wants to be like that. And then when you're out and you take photographs, it's different. He had a Rolleiflex, by the way.
I can see there.
I already checked that.
Yeah. Hold on. This is not cooperating. I'm trying to zoom back.
Yeah.
It's so weird how this one works. All right.
I like that there's two people behind him there.
Yeah. It's like, what is he doing? I mean, I see some...
That's Morocco, I guess.
yeah, this is Arabic letters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's... I can't read it. I should be able to read it, but I can't. It's in India.
In India?
Mm-hmm.
All
But this is Arabic lettering.
For sure.
This word right here is God. So it's like some excerpt from the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is also the same thing. They look like that usually. And we looked at all these. Where is this one? New York, Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe this is Korean.
Still Chinatown, probably.
Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the galleries. This one was a bit strange.
It was, yeah.
That
These are what they selected as beauty.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I understand it's a bit more makeup thing, but some things are pretty strange.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Although they're very, like all of these photos are very powerful. Like
Yes.
they're definitely going to catch your attention.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this one. You know, I can kind of guess what the message is.
I like the last one.
This one?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's everything that you are not supposed to have on a portrait. You know, like you are taking the face away. So it's a very powerful statement
Mm-hmm.
on a portrait. You know, it's like a portrait is supposed to be a face. Let's take away the face. And that's why it becomes so strange. And so, I don't know, like even hard to look at some point.
It's called football face.
Yeah.
And this one is a chromogenic print.
It's a very nice tones, I have to say.
Yeah, but again, do you think the process has to do with it? Chromogenic is just a C-type print.
No, but it
Yeah.
it looks very cool,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of.
Oh, the print. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think that was the old one out, the one with the eggs that felt off to me.
Yeah.
And maybe the blue flower.
All those paintings of faces, weird faces, it reminds me of this one of the horror movies that they use face made of skin of people. Very weird.
Yeah, I would say this one probably is my favorite of the bunch.
Doesn't really smell fashion to me. Or
No. But I don't know if they were... what did they say about... A number of Penn's editorials for Vogue
Mm-hmm.
were categorized as beauty pictures, conceived to illustrate concepts loosely related to cosmetic evoked in the magazine's pages. They often allowed Penn to employ his sense and wit and
Concision.
I don't even know what this word means.
Concision.
Giving a lot of information clearly in a few words. A brief but comprehensive. Okay. To create an image that could stand out and stop traffic. Yeah, that definitely effect that is there. Not necessarily this one, but some of the ones that we looked at inside, where they were very, like jump out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that one of the football face, you will stop and check like, what?
Let's take a look at portraits while we're here. Again, I would say like the thing that jumps at me the most is form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I read somewhere that he prepared this corner with an angle in his studio, and this is where he liked to put his subject and create portraits there, and you can see them in a lot of
like this
photos.
one and this one. Vogue, do whatever you want. Artist, I do. Vogue, please don't.
What?
Miguel just wrote in the chat is like a meme kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Vogue
a good
says
one.
do
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you want. Artist, I do. Vogue says please don't. Yeah, it was a good one. Oh, I like this one. Really, really, really nice.
Reminds me of some of the paintings by El Greco, which had like very long faces and shadows and.
Again, and that feeling I think comes from the shape as well.
Yeah.
Like the way how the shape of the figure is very, very
highlighted by the shadow and the light placement. Indeed.
I really like this one that they didn't care about this so much. I've seen some of those. Some of those rub me the wrong way. Like
it gives you the behind the scene vibe, right? Type of.
Yeah, but this one I kind of like.
Can you? Yeah.
It's just because it doesn't take away too much.
Can you click on it to see who they are? Because if they are with, I think.
Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong.
Nice duo. The one of the man with only one eye, that's like very nice portrait.
Picasso.
Yeah. There. So powerful.
This one reminds me of those photos by that guy. I forgot his name. His name is one word name. Can you guys guess?
One word name?
Yeah.
Portrait photographer?
Yeah, still like current. I mean, he's been working for a while, but he's younger. I can tell you something to let you know where we saw his work.
In Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Platon.
Yeah.
And I had to think he has the name of a philosopher. He's Greek, so I was like Platon. Yeah, Platon. Yeah, I know what you mean. The photos of Colin Powell and the presidents, they were in this kind.
Yeah.
And it's like you can see the kindness in that man. I don't know him. I mean, he's a king, he said?
King Gustav. Sweden,
right?
Yeah.
So this is the father of the current one?
I don't know.
I think so.
I should know, but I don't.
I don't know.
Yeah, probably because
he's
he's not the current one.
No, the current one is...
I know how he looks like.
And his name?
Also Gustav.
Also Gustav.
They're all
but
Gustavs.
It's not this one.
I don't know if they're all Gustavs. I know the one right now, the current one is Gustav. Grandfather, thank you, CM.
Okay, so he's the grandfather of the current one?
Yeah, according to CM.
He seems kind in that photo.
Yeah, I mean, Swedish monarchy always seems to be friendly and kind. I mean, I don't know so much about
the Swedes
politics.
really mock the current king. I think that's the feeling I have.
Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a nice guy.
Actually, but the Swedish princess, she was supposed to open the summit that I was working in this week, but she got corona. So
hope she is well.
Yeah, they have only mild symptoms apparently.
All right. So I think that's it of looking at these photos. Let me see. You sent me another gallery.
It's just a mixed gallery. There's gonna be some nudes, so be careful.
I'm just browsing through it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there are some interesting ones.
There are some that we didn't see. That's why I sent that one to you.
Let me take a look. These ones are kind of cool. I like this one. And these ones with the dying flower.
Yes. Is what CM was saying is this decay, this decadence.
Decadence?
Yeah, isn't it decadence?
I don't know if that's the same meaning.
I don't know. I can...
Yeah, but I think that's about it. Unless anybody would like to bring up any other topics, I think we should maybe cut it short this week.
Yeah.
And by short, I think
I
we've
like
been
those
on for an hour.
Jingo Biloba ones.
These ones.
Yeah, I really like that tree.
Yeah, that is very nice. And yeah.
Yeah, but I hope that you guys saw some things that you had not seen before, perhaps, even though the majority of you probably heard of Irving Penn, but maybe get a insight on his work and his way of thinking and his artistic life a little bit different than what you knew before, perhaps. That would make me very happy.
Yeah, exactly. Decadence is decay of culture according to conservatives.
Okay.
Because I know like decadence is a word to describe parties.
And luxury as well, right? I think,
Decadence.
or something like that.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe it's different.
Yeah, there used to be this event called decadence or something. That's where I learned that word from like 10 years ago.
I think here in the dictionary says decadence, moral or cultural decline as characterized by excessive indulgence in the pleasure of luxury.
Mm-hmm.
So decadence is when you lose culture because you go more into just have fun and drug up and stuff like that.
So decay is what you're looking for.
Yeah, decay, not decadence. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, we're always learning a lot of stuff all the time.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I think that's it. Anything else you would like to add?
Nothing that comes to my mind right now.
I'm trying to get the Polaroids.
The Polaroids.
Yeah.
Polaroid love.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep experimenting with these.
Yes.
Maybe I'll make a video about this. I know I haven't been going out so much, so you're still waiting on that video of the consumer film. But you know, I got some ideas for that one. I think I might because now we have this light. It's really nice. And we went and got some backdrops boards with different colors. So I think I might be cooking something for color film comparison and exposure testing.
Oi. You're getting technical with it.
Yeah, because I think the mixing the both ideas together maybe was not the best. And I might do something about Polaroids as well with these flowers and try to do some tests to make a video, because it's been a long time since we made an actual video.
Yes.
And I think it's about time. And these look really cool. I really like them.
The daylight saving is coming up this weekend, so from next week we're gonna have a lot of more light on the days. Hopefully warmer weather. Maybe this podcast is gonna be done under the daylight.
It's gonna be messy because today when we started, I mean that's why I look so white, because when we started we just left that one at whatever white balance it was on, and this window right here, there's a window next to me on this side, it was blasting me with natural light, and so now it's so when we were setting up we couldn't see how it's gonna be now because the daylight was still there.
Maybe we should leave it in auto and the camera is gonna be smart enough to compensate as the light changes. Maybe
we will see what we
know.
do. But anyways, I think that's about it for this week. We hope you enjoyed the show and found some inspiration like Tim did.
Yes.
9 months of Winterland. Yeah, man, I know. I guess also like Miguel he was in Russia, right?
I think so. Yeah.
It's probably similar over
He was our translator last week.
So what was I saying? Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please like.
That helps a lot, the algorithm.
Yes.
And maybe share with some friends.
Yeah, sure. If you find that you have some friends that might be interested, and you think,
because we're here every Friday, and we hope to be for a long time.
Yeah. What do you think about the timing?
6 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, never mind.
To change it for later when the.
Hold on, let me do this. I'm gonna do this.
Okay,
all right.
Do it.
All right, how many we have right now?
10 people.
10 people. Are you guys interested in a photo contest? Leave your answers in the chat if you're interested. We do have a Discord server that we are not using, and we can probably use it for to share your photos with us, and maybe we can look at them. You guys can vote on each other pictures, and then we can share them in every other episode. So every episode we can announce one, and in every other episode we can announce a winner. So it's like a 1 week thing, or maybe a couple of week things. And then we're thinking maybe we can have every few weeks, maybe we can make a big one, we can make a weekly one and a monthly one. The monthly one will have a giveaway or a prize. What do you think about that?
Either digital or analog.
I think we're not gonna
limit anybody. No.
Yeah, so we love doing analog photography ourselves, but photography is photography. It doesn't matter how you take the photo.
Exactly.
So what do you guys think? like now here, we're a small family. And, you know, if it's going to happen, you guys are going to help us to make it happen.
Of course.
So
I mean, we need people to
give us your
submit.
votes, yay or nay.
Your name.
What do you think? Is that something interesting? Do you want to have that? And I'm going to give it some time because I'm assuming that some people are having delay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Discord link from YouTube gives me error. Yeah, this Discord that is in there, I will fix it. That's for Tim's Discord. I thought I put a permanent one.
Yeah, we thought we changed it to a permanent one. Maybe it
but I
wasn't.
will
We'll fix it later, for sure.
I will fix that. But yeah, so far only Miguel is in. Thank you, Miguel.
Well, at least there's one person so far.
I don't know. I hope the other people, if they think no, they could say no, so I know that they are listening.
That's true. I don't know. Maybe they are online but listening from before, you know, because if they start, they are not on par with the live.
That's what I'm assuming.
But I mean, like, if they came in half hour later, then they are half hour behind.
All right. So how do we solve this?
We will maybe ask to leave a comment in the video.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If you're watching this at any time and you made it this far, first of all, I love you. I really do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time doing this. Yeah, if you are interested in a photo contest, leave a comment below. And if we have a good amount, then we will prep up the Discord, and you can just probably at that point either find the link in the description, or we will talk more about it in the beginning of next week's episode. And then if you don't have Discord and you don't want to use it, also leave in your comment what is your preferred way, and then maybe we can tally up the votes and see how we do this. Maybe you can post on Instagram with a hashtag and a tag, or we will see how we do it. And so let us know if you're interested. Leave a comment. Miguel, I already know your opinion, so you don't have to comment again. Thank you for being quick. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all for watching. We hope you have a fantastic week.
Yes.
And also hope to see you again next week.
Next week, Friday, 6 p.m.
Yep. Which time? CET?
CET, Central European Time. So +1 from UK.
Right.
See you soon, guys.
See you. Have a great time. Bye-bye.
Bye.